Good morning, dear guests of our live stream at our university, Istanbul Gelişim University. My name is Nurlan. I am the foreign relations expert of the university. And today I have a guest with me, Associate Professor Dr. Shehzad Ashraf. Today we will speak together the future of the science and the future of the scientific research. But first, let me please introduce our dear Associate Professor Shehzad Ashraf. Who is he and how we know him? Actually, he is also a researcher, but anyway, we have gathered too many informations about him, maybe he doesn't know himself. First of all, I would like to introduce him. Associate Professor Shehzad Ashraf. He graduated from Islamic University of Pakistan in Islamabad from his master's degree in 2009 and from his PhD degree in 2016. Also, I would like to say here one thing, that when he graduated from his master's degree, he got a great award that his GPA point was 4 out of 4 exactly. And he got actually a gold medal there. And then after finishing his PhD, he started to work like a lecturer and also like a researcher at this university, also in at the
Islamic University and University of Sialkot.
Great.
Worked in 2 universities of Pakistan.
Very well. And then also he started his researcher career, and he had there nowadays he has approximately 100 international articles, and 81 of them are in the Web of Sciences journal. And also he has about H-indexed 26 papers and I-10 indexed 53 papers. 50, yeah. And his work to the today's statistic is cited over 2075 cites he has today. And let me speak also a bit about his research interests, that what is interesting when he does his research. It is the cryptography, it is the multimedia security, it is the e-payment systems, the manets, the CIP authentication, IP multimedia subsystems, and next generation of the networks.
It's basically, you can say, security, applied security. It's being applied in electronic payment system, authentication in cyber physical system, in Internet of Things, IP multimedia subsystem. So my research is basically applied research. Like you can simply say what we do, we basically we provide security to different systems. So first we study those systems and then apply our algorithm, or we customize, or we design new algorithms for those security systems. So if you say just one word about my research, you can say information security.
Information security, okay, very well. And also we have one more information, that you are awarded in the top 2% scientists on the Stanford University's journal. Well, can you please say us how you are honored there, or how this list is calculated, or how many professors are there from the Turkey, and also are there another professor from our university? Can you please give some information about that?
It's basically, this is the first time Stanford University or any of the indexing agency or any of the university declared this list, they computed this list. This is the first time, this is the first list ever, as far as I know, this is the first list ever generated by Stanford University, basically for Professor Jones from Stanford University. His H-index is above 160, like he's one of the most prominent scientists of the world. He generated this basically with his team. The formula, it contains number of publications, number of citations, number of self citations, and all these criteria they combine together and make the list. Like they are, if we talk about how this list is computed, it is we need a whole session. So just what I can say, just to make it very brief, like it's based on your number of publications, your H-index, your number of citations, how frequently an author is being cited. So they calculated this from Scopus database. Scopus is one of the biggest database or biggest indexing agency who indexed scientific research. Basically, what you can say, there are several indexing agencies, including Web of Science, including Elsevier indexing, Elsevier Compendex, Scopus, and so on. So Scopus, this is a very reliable and trustworthy indexing agency. It's basically, it has broader perspective as compared to Web of Science. Like Web of Science indexes a small portion of journals. Scopus has, it indexes all Web of Science journals plus some other journals as well. So the list, Stanford University's top 2% scientist list is basically based on the Scopus data. That means it is computed through Scopus data, how many citations and how many publications we are having there, what is our H-index, I-10 index, and so on. So it's this list is based on Scopus indexing, and Scopus is, you know, it's a trustworthy name. As far as the significance is concerned, first of all, yes, it incorporates both, like it incorporates a number of citations to an author plus his self citations as well. So they computed it like they give proper weightage to citations and they give proper negative weightage to self citations. So it's very significant. It's the first time it's generated. Hopefully with the passage of time it will get like more accurate. Like whenever we talk about anything in the world, nothing in this world is perfect. So if we talk about this top 2% list, maybe this is not like 100% perfect, but it's a way forward. And you know, any researcher or any person who is doing something like good, something scientific or anything, he needs some appreciation. Like this appreciation can be in terms of like monetary incentives, like it should be in social like appreciation and so on. So appreciating those people who are doing some good work, it will enhance like motivation. It will like motivate other people's, like for example, if I talk about Istanbul Galician University, this year alhamdulillah we are two persons, two professors from Istanbul Galician University are in top 2% scientists. Dr. Andrew is from business administration, economics faculty. He is also a part of this and I am also part of this. So during, I hope next year this 2 maybe 4 or 5 and so on. So with the passage of time, I hope it will increase, but it needs some sort of appreciation. So this list, top 2% list, our name, this is an appreciation to us, as well as this is the motivation to our other faculty members which are working here or in any part of the world. If I talk about this list contains over 100,000 scientists of the whole world in all fields. Like we are having hundreds of fields, business, like computer, within computing, computer engineering, if I talk about, we are having a lot of subfields, artificial intelligence, communication networks, security and so on. So this list was like devised based on those subfields. They basically Professor John and their team, they categorized some subfields, and based on subfields they computed this list, and this list is now public. And if I talk about Turkey, in Turkey there are 847 scientists from all over Turkey, all universities of Turkey, from all fields. It's not like here if I talk about Istanbul Galician University, I am the only from computer engineering department, and Dr. Andrew is only from Business Administration Department. So 847 scientists of Turkey are in this list. These scientists are from all fields, from economics to computer sciences, from artificial intelligence to data mining, from business administration to mechanical engineering, so all fields. So 847 scientists are part of this list.
Okay. Thank you very much. But during your speech, I heard that you said something about appreciation, and hereby we would like to appreciate you, and we are glad to see you, to know that you are a part of our computer engineering department at the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture. We are appreciating you hereby in our live stream. And I have one more question to you. Can you please tell me, what does it take to publish a good article, or where comes that discipline, where comes that determination, or let me say the motivation, or if you are sitting on your chair and to your computer, how do you think, how you motivate yourself, or where do you get this motivation? Surely Googling is not enough to get that motivation, as you know, but where comes that, and what can you advise for us?
Basically, whenever talk about research or publications, as I discussed earlier, that not only research, every good work, everything, every action of your needs some motivation. So if you ask me about how to do research, so I should have motivation. If I have motivation, I can do. If he thinks that he has to do, then he has to do. And it depends on what I can say, on the policies, university policies, on YOC, Higher Education Council policies. So if I talk about Turkey, even what I published, YOC also gave me some a handsome amount monetary incentive YOC has given me. So in Istanbul, Gelişim University, we are having lot of motivations. We are being appreciated. Okay, this is the second time we are here and we are discussing this all about research. So when we talk about how to publish a paper, first of all, the motivation, when I think I have to do, or when I am restricted to do, I can do. Okay, so first of all, this is motivation. Then definitely you should be disciplined, and all other things come after. So first, if I share my experiences, when I published first impact factor paper, before that I published some conferences paper. When I published first paper, I think it took me at least 7-8 months continuous work with my supervisor, with my colleagues, with some other collaborator who are working in different parts of the world. I contacted them. So after 6, 7 or 8 months, when I submitted my paper, it got rejected, and I got some sort of very useful comments to improve it. This is another part. So when I submitted the paper, I got something like rejection, but with some good comments. Reviewers also suggested some good improvements. So after then I improved, I submitted in another journal. I think 2 or 3 times it was rejected, then it was published, and it was like an honor. It motivated me a lot when it published after 2 years. You are waiting, you wrote a paper, and after writing paper, it got approximately 2 years to publish that paper on a journal website. So the first thing is that, as I told you, I will talk about my experiences. Yes, definitely you need motivation, you need determination, you need positive attitude as well. and you need to, like, during research you don't feel shy to ask anything to anyone. Like if I say I have like over 2,000 publications, I have published over 100 papers, and this, for example, one of my colleague or one of my students, he just has 1-2 publications, and I have some confusion. I should never shy to ask him as well. I should not like think that I'm like something extraordinary, and he's so. If you behave like this, then you cannot write. So you should never shy. You should appreciate good work of everyone. You should have very positive attitude, and definitely you should never shy to ask anything to anyone. So this is what all these are my experiences. Maybe some other people have other experiences, but this is my experience, that I don't feel shy.
Okay. And I think the most important motivation is that we can do ourselves is not giving up, because
never give up.
Giving up doesn't show you the future. It is like a glass, and when you are just watching it and you are seeing yourself, a give up person there. But when you don't look that glass, and when you only look your future, it opens all the door for you, and from the windows the people just watch you and says, oh yeah, he did it. It is the motivation. The person has to motivate himself as well as. And I have another question. Maybe that question can be a bit wired for you, but can you please tell us what were the fatal errors of you that you got in the fatality, and you said, no, I'm not going to continue to publish that paper, it is very hard for me, or it is very distinguished for me, there are too many statistical things that I cannot fight against them, and you errored there, or you just continued?
First of all, as our previous questions, if you want to do research, your attitude should always be positive. You should never be negative. Okay, if, for example, even if you feel there is some negativity on some other side, and that negativity should not affect you. Like you are doing some good work, and negativity of other should not affect you. Rather, if they are negative, you should become more positive. So show them that your negativity does not affect me. Like if I talk about myself, I came here, I was having some issues, and my career was not like it was not like so bright like it came after I came to Turkey. It became like in 2018 I was in Pakistan, and I was awarded Research Productivity Award from Pakistan Council for Science and Technology, and they awarded like this Research Productivity Award to 240 people, 240 professors of Pakistan, scientists of Pakistan. And if I talk about my field, computer engineering, they just granted a Research Productivity Award to 7 Pakistani computer scientists only. And I was from International Islamic University, I was the first, or I got Maiden Research Productivity Award for International Islamic University. And before that, after that, no one from my old university, they got this Research Productivity Award. But unfortunately, whatever the reason was, after getting this award, I got some negative comments about my research, my annual confidential report from that. But Alhamdulillah, that did not like discourage me. That did not like let me. If you think you done some very good work, and some negative person says your work is not good, like what happened with me, I got like adverse report, okay, from that dean of the faculty. That was he gave some adverse remarks. I was never disappointed by those, but I thought I have to show them. Now I got some award from national award. Now I need some international award. Alhamdulillah, today I got it. So I did not make it within 2 years. It's 2018 and it's 2020. end of 2020, make it 3 years. So within 3 years, I got motivated. Like the negativity, their negativity, I take it as to show them more, to make myself more positive instead of taking those things on myself. So your attitude should be positive. This is like first of all, I will say this: if you want to write anything, if you want to do research, let me tell you, Nurlan, it's not only about research. It's about your whole life. What I feel, in every walk of life, your attitude should be positive. You should be a true professional. Your attitude should be a positive, and you should appreciate people's. So this is the first one, that you should be positive. Number 2, definitely determination matters. Your hard work matters. If someone asks me about what is research, so I will simply say this is literature review. Whatever the word has done, you should know it. Like for example, in my field, I know every author who is publishing frequently in my field, information security. I know them by their name. Most of them are my authors. Some of them are my collaborators. So I approximately read every papers. Like let me tell you, if I talk about writing is just 1 minute. Let's put writing on one side. If I talk about reading, I think within a week I read more than 20-25 papers or 30 papers latest. So I know what is the latest development in my field. So if I want to generate a new idea, it's not like I will generate like a very novel thing. Yes, novelty came from literature review. You know what other people are doing. If you don't like read, you cannot never write. So for writing, you need to read a lot. You should have knowledge of your field. Like if we start doing like PhD or any other research projects, we always start from survey. So survey is always the base of your research. So you know what A has done, what B has done, what C is doing at the moment. Then you can like design your own idea. So idea is very important. Your topic is important. Some like if I talk about, this is purely about publishing. If I talk about publishing, you know, journals, all editors, they are very concerned about their citations, like which paper will get more citations. So for that, you have to choose the idea as well as title, which is very hot. Like if I talk about nowadays, you will in our field, like in the security of Internet of Things, it's like a hot field. Blockchain is a hot field. So vehicular ad hoc networks, it's a hot field. If I talk about this medical healthcare, remote healthcare, it's a hot field. So for publishing, yes, definitely the quality matters, but not only quality matters. You have to pick something which is on demand. Like you should know which paper or which title which will get more citations. So the hard work, it also matters a lot. Your idea, the topic, title. Then definitely when you write paper, some of the things are very important. First, abstract is important. Like if your abstract is not written very efficiently, it will be desk rejected. That means it will not go to under review. Editor will see. So it's a process of specifically. I published all my papers in Web of Science index journals. Other papers are in conferences. I did not publish paper in other journals. In Web of Science journals, typically in Q1, Q2 journals, approximately 50-60% papers are rejected instantly. Like they don't go under review. Editor just receives it and we just see some of the things and he see the quality is not good, he just rejects it instantly without review, like without he can say that out of scope. Definitely he will not say that you have not written this paper, the paper does not have quality, they don't write like this, but they just reject it. They will say that this is out of scope, something like this. So to avoid this just reject, you have to be very like careful, like just as I told, idea is important, your title is important, then abstract, then your conclusion, these should be written very elegantly. Similarly, your experimentation part, your comparison part, these are very, you should be very careful. And one more thing which mostly people which ignores, your references are very important. Which papers you are going to cite. For example, initially when I started my research career, like in 2010 I started as a master student, and as far as my first impact factor paper was published in 2014. So initially, like I published some conference papers, some like not much good conferences like local conferences or international conferences, but all are peer reviewed. Then I started publishing in low impact factor journals. Then I started like gradually, everyone, not like me, everyone, they gradually they build their career. From conferences, when I moved on to journals or some good impact factor journals, my 2-3 papers are rejected very frequently, and it like disappointed me. But as I told you, disappointment is never an option. Negativity is never an option. You should always remain positive. Then I contacted some top researchers of my field just to get an idea that what are the if you can help me. What are the weaknesses of my paper, why my paper is rejected, something like this, because I feel my abstract is very good, this is my feeling, my title is very good, it is a hot topic, I have written abstract in a good way, conclusion, everything, experimentation part was also nice, so why it is rejected? So one of my colleague is a leading researcher of the world in my field from China. Then he told me everything is fine, your references are not good. Why? You are publishing in top 10% journal, you have submitted your paper in the top 10% journals, okay, and you are referring your citations. It also includes like some low level conferences, some like journals with very low impact. So if you are targeting top 10% journals, or if you are targeting Q1 journals, you should know, you should cite those top journal papers. For example, if you don't cite these top journals, it will have an impact that you don't read those papers, you don't read those journals, and if you don't read those journals, how you can publish in those journals? So this was an issue, number one. Number two, his other advice was, he said, some of the very like influential scientists of this of your area, you did not cite their work. So even if I see your paper, I say it means you did not cite Professor A, Professor B, Professor C. It means you don't surveyed, you don't have the knowledge of your whole field. So it also matters. So all these things, like some of the things, this is like my experience, some of the things you will learn by experimenting after getting rejections. So even at the moment we got many rejections and we got many new comments. Like it's a continuous effort. Like it's a feedback mechanism. You get feedback time and again for this.
Okay. Yeah, as you say, the idea is important actually, Professor Shehzad, because when you're starting to do this, and if you have an idea, you know, a lamp there on your brain, it means that you already completed the 50% of your job, because having an idea means that you started already and just you need some power to finish it and to continue it. But also, I would like to also here say that sometimes we are having some bad habits also in the, you know, the science, that they are the predatory journals nowadays. That is the black face of the science. And also sometimes a young researchers, they are trying to have more papers and they are trying to publish their papers in these predatory journals, and it makes a big, and it harms them actually, and it harms their future career. And also maybe they can publish their papers in these kind of journals, but in their universities, in those universities, these kind of papers are not acceptable. And let's say when a young scholar gets a rejection, okay, letter, the first thing what he should do, or what do you think about how the scholar should react on it?
First of all, if we talk about PhD, your doctorate degree, whenever you get admit in any university, first of all, you are assigned a supervisor. The purpose of supervisor is not to write on behalf of you, not to read on behalf of you. You have to do your work. So the main or the basic or the fundamental purpose of a PhD degree is to give a license to someone, some researcher, that now you can do independent research. So during PhD, your supervisor, he is basically his main purpose is to guide you where to publish, how to publish. So you have to be very careful from this predatory journal. Yes, there are many journals available with different names, like they are having a similar name with known journals. Okay, so similarly, they also put like there is another term, global impact factor, GIF. They write it, not impact factor, global impact factor. Similarly, there are some other terms they use. So a very new starter or initiator, a research who is just a person who has just started his research career, he can get trapped. But you should be very careful, because until you did not completed your PhD, you did not publish 2-3 good papers, you cannot differentiate very frequently to predatory journals. But let me tell you, some of the things are very common. Like, no journal will offer you, which is not predatory, which is original journal, no journal will offer you to publish your paper within 10 days. Let me tell you, one of my paper, it got published in 3 years. It got 8 revisions. Typically, if I talk about impact factor papers, I think 7-8 months are the minimum time. If some journals ask you, or their review time is just 10 days, 15 days, it means this is you should not go for those predatory journals. You should avoid those. And before all this, some of the publishers are very well reputed. They can never have a predatory journals. So first of all, you should go for those. For example, IEEE, Elsevier, Springer, Wiley, all these, Taylor and Francis, all these journals, all these publishers, they are well-known publishers, they are trustworthy publishers. If they are having any journal, you should try in those well-known publishers. Okay, number one. Number two, if you are not going to well-known publishers, in that case, you should check the indexing of those journals. Okay, through Web of Science or through Scopus. If you don't have access to Web of Science or Scopus, even when very frankly, when I was in Pakistan, I was not having access to Web of Science, then I used to ask my friends in UK, in US, in China, or in other countries. Those are my collaborators, or some other friends who are abroad for job or for research or something like that. I used to ask them, I need to know about this. I need to, for example, download this paper, just I don't have access, something like this. So you can like get help. That's why I asked, I told you as early, don't ever be shy. When you are doing something good, don't ever be shy to ask anyone if you are having any confusion. This was about predatory journals. I'm taking too much time for this. What about rejection? First of all, rejection, you are just appreciating me that I have more than 100 papers, publications. Out of those, 81 are in Web of Science Index, and Alhamdulillah this year in Galicium University, I'm here for last 14 or 15 months. I have published more than 30 impact factor papers. Out of those, 15 are in Q1, and out of those 7 or 8 are in top 10% journals. So even then, my papers are rejected very frequently. One of my paper, it got rejected from 5 different venues, okay, and still it's underwear in an other venue. So it happens. Rejection does not means that your paper does not has good quality. Like there are some, there may be some sort of weaknesses. Those you can improve. Reviewers give you suggestions. Once you get some review comments, this is my experiences. Like most of the reviewers are very nice in scientific research. The one who is doing research, he will be nice. He will always be nice. So he will give you, like, he will reject your paper, but he will give you some very good input. Like I also reject when I review or I edit some journal and some paper comes to me for as editor or as reviewer. We reject, we accept, we give them revisions. Even if we reject, we give them like some insight. What are the weaknesses of in that paper? So the author should be very positive. Like if they got rejection, just take all the comments positive and reply on those comments. Like if author feels that a reviewer has given some wrong comments, that means like reviewer did not understand, okay, leave it, no problem. But take it positive. That means you should not, what I can say, you should not take a reviewer as negative, number one. Number two, if you feel a reviewer has pointed some good like mistake, okay, you should act, you should like correct your paper as per his suggestions. Like what I can say in rejection happens. Even like one of my friend, he has more than like 20,000 citations, like 10 times more citations than me. He got rejection as well many times. So rejection does not matter. The paper rejects and accepts. Like if first paper I got rejected as I told you 2 or 3 times, if I got disappointed from those, or I published my paper in some predatory journal, should I, you can think I should be sitting here like you, and so you should always be positive.
Okay, thank you very much, dear professor. And also nowadays we have a big problem, the word pool. It means sometimes when the new researchers, they are trying to write their article, they are using too many words, and sometimes they don't have any meaning, just that word and word and word. And how to say it, if you don't know your mother language, you cannot know any other language. And sometimes when they are trying to publish these kind of papers in English language, or let us say in German or in a French language, they are just stuck in there, because they are using some Google translators or some translation versions, and it is exactly also harmful. It is the way actually of the rejections, when the, as you say, when the abstract is actually important for us, when the the referee there, they read your abstract and they see, okay, that they are all the Google Translate sentences, because no grammar, no any the options there, and that means, okay, you just copied it from somewhere, maybe you translated it from, let us say, from a Persian language or from even the Azerbaijani language. You just translated it from this language and you are trying to publish it twice, and it is the way of also the rejections. And well, you talked more about your motivation. Actually, you are also now motivating me here to speak. Also, I can sing about your students, how they are luckily that they are having you. But anyway, one more question I have. Well, after all this, sometimes, as you said, there are some rejections, sometimes there are hard daily work, your classes to teach or your research stuff, and sometimes also you need to, at least to meet with me to drink a tea, you need a time for it. And how you organize your daily program? How's your daily program as well?
So basically, definitely you have to work hard for any task. You have to work hard. Organization of time is like in Turkey, I have more time. Okay, because in Pakistan I was having some less time. There was a lot of friends. Here I have a lot of friends. Like I meet you, I meet other friends. But the matter is, when you have to do something, you got time automatically. When you think, I have to complete this paper, definitely you will get time out of your busy schedule. This is, I will never say the time can be an excuse. You automatically get time. I cannot say like how I will manage it. Let me tell you very frankly, people are very well organized, that they put some time for this research. My friends as well, some time for like meeting friends, some other time they manage their time. I don't do management. I don't do it like this. Let me tell you, if I have some confusion in my mind, if I think I have to do this task, I have to do task means typically to write something, to do some experiment. If I make my point like I have to do this this commitment today, then Nurlan, I can tell you very frankly, I cannot sleep until I cannot do that. So this is something like what you can say managing time. Time is automatically managed when you think I have to do, then you can do. This is what I can like say.
Okay. Then I have one more question for you that it is also interesting for me. What are the best practices that we can benchmark from you? Okay, when, for example, we see you with us, or when your students see you actually during the online classes or during the, hopefully we will go back to this face-to-face classes. And I have also seen some of actually your online conversations, or sometimes your online lessons, or online, the giving ideas to the students, and you are really comfortable there. Actually, I have seen that comfortability on you. Where it comes?
Actually, I'm not like you cannot make me like perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm very imperfect. What I think my positive point, or my good point which I like to myself, is the positivity. Like I remain always positive, alhamdulillah, and I try, if someone asks me for any help, I try my best to help him. Like if I talk about my students, even my old students who were graduated in 3-4 years earlier, like 7-8 years earlier, they are still in contact with me for their research, even doing PhDs from like other parts of the world, from other universities. But whenever they have some issue regarding their research, or they want some like help, social help or something like that, they contact me very frequently, and I also contact them. So I think if you talk about myself, if I talk about, I have just like two things or three things maybe. One is I remain positive, okay. I try to help other people, and the last thing is people don't agree, my friends don't agree, but let me tell you, I'm very hard worker. My friend says, you are here with us, so you have something extraordinary, so you can publish these things. I tell them, I'm here, but you don't know what I will do when I will be in my home, okay, in my apartment, what I will do. So hard work, positivity, and try to help others. These are the, I feel these traits are like good traits.
Okay, thank you very much, doctor. And also, I got a private message now, and I would like to also say that context and ask this question to you. We are proud to have dear Dr. Shehzad at Istanbul Gelishim University. Kind regards, first of all. And my question is, what is the ideal institutional support that a good researcher needs?
Support from institute. If we talk about like Istanbul Gelishim University, I came here like 14-15 months. I feel very like comfortable here. If we talk about when I came here, we are having regular meetings with our rector, Professor Burhan, Vice Rector Professor Nail, and Professor Noori, and other people. And let me tell you, Nurlan, very frankly, everyone is encouraging. Whenever like I meet with Professor Nail, typically we meet him. Whenever I meet him, I get encouraged. Every time, yes, every time we need any support, we get it. Like there is a simple example, like when pandemic started, I'm like, I have language issues here, I cannot speak Turkish, I have other issues, I don't know many things here, even after this 14-15 months, but pandemic started just 4-5 months we were here, and it was like, everyone was frightened, everyone was like, there was, everyone was worried what will happen. So instantly we received an email that we are having a meeting with rector tomorrow, online meeting. So after that meeting, Professor Burhan, Professor Nail, they appreciated us so much. Like they showed us like they are caring us. They say if you are having any issue, if you need any support, if you need any help, anyone got any problem like of corona or anything, just make a call to Professor Nail or Nurlan or Anar. These were the persons. So like, let me tell you, I got like increase in blood. Like,
you get your motivation.
Yes, always motivation. And last time our meeting was like 3 or 4 months late. Then I asked Professor Nail, why don't you meet? When we meet, we get happy. So there should be, like everyone here, like mainly the top management, that's very supportive and very encouraging.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Shehzad, that we had a good conversation, a friendly conversation here today. And I hope our dear guests in our live stream, unfortunately, we cannot have you here, in our face-to-face meeting. We were having before in this salon at least 200 or 300 students together that we were doing that live streams without any cameras and to them, and we could have their questions as well. But what can we say you? Please be safe, take care of yourself, take care of your social distance, wear your mask when you are outside, and thank you very much for attending today in our live stream. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and hopefully we may have a live session with the audiences very soon. Let's pray that this pandemic will go as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.